This is our bear iso. For our bear iso, we're in a quadruped position. When we start, we want to be sure the shoulder and the palm are directly over the top of each other, hip and kneecap directly over the top of each other as well. Our concepts here are starting to really refine, stretch, and start to create tension in this shoulder complex, along with getting the scap to understand how different parts of our rotator cuff fire when we perform different motions into the ground. During this exercise, athlete is going to be asked to ignite the hamstrings consistently, getting the feet off the ground and pulling all 10 toes towards their knee. During this position, we want to be sure the heels stay facing out away from the body. As always, the core is braced, and you can see we're constantly trying to round the back to create more mechanical stretch through the shoulder and the rotator cuff as well. So once again, we always start everything with our breath work. In through the nose, out through the mouth. The athlete then exhales and rounds that back. Once we round the back, we really are looking for that the athlete has a nice round upper back. We're not seeing the scapula kind of protrude out and create wings. This is what's really truly trying to get the serratus to fire so that the back stays round and we don't see that scapular winging. Once that upper back is rounded, our next cue is going to be to tuck our pelvis. So once we tuck the pelvis, we'll see that the back elongates even more and that spine starts to round even more. Once the pelvis is tucked, now we're driving our hips into each other and putting pressure into the ground with our knees. Next cue is for the athlete to start to flex their feet back and then rotate them forward, and we want to stay on that big toe. Now we're pushing into the big toe, driving the hips forward. Now once we have that big toe down, now we lift the foot, and this is where we get to almost our finished position, where we are toes flexed, heels out, round back, pelvis tucked, stomach tight, pushing into the ground through our fingers. Once we've completed the bear iso position, now we want to start to work this shoulder. We're going to give 4 cues. Pinch the floor together, rip the floor open the window, close the window. We want to be sure that the athlete remains fingers long. When we push through our fingers and knuckles, our fingers should stay long, they shouldn't curl. First cue, pinch the floor together. Once you pinch the floor together, you're going to start to get a different sensation, more through the chest and that back. We always want to keep rounded. We're going to pinch the floor for 5 seconds. Once we're done pinching the floor, we want to move into our next set. Be sure we're constantly looking to see if the toes are being flexed and the hamstring is driving. Once we've passed pinching the floor together, then we want to rip the earth open. Still with our fingers and our knuckles, we want to pull the earth apart, ripping it open to really start to, like I said, get that rotator cuff and shoulder complex starting to sink. The athlete will feel really loose after this, provided, once again, we're creating as much tension as possible. Rip the floor for 5 seconds, as hard as you can, as hard as you can. Our next cue is close the window, now with the fingers. Notice elbow is still completely straight, back is rounded, toes are up, driving the hips, pinching the knees together. All of that is still happening, and close the window is just that. We're going to pull the window down closed. We're going to hold that position for 5 seconds as well. Last position is open the window. We're going to start to gradually, well, not gradually, we're going to drive the floor. It's just like opening a window. Fingers and knuckles start to push the floor away.